going. We got YouTube, we got Twitter. We're looking good. We're looking good. All right, so I'll give everybody a little bit of time to get in here.
Yep.
As we kind of, and you know, like first of all, everybody, how's it going? We have Amanda Rischel with us today, the voice actor of Cartethiya. As you all know, this is Life Lessons Gaming, where we talk about story and lore. We do this in multiple games, but we do it quite a bit in Wuthering Waves, as you know. And so, yeah, that's why we're here. You saw the thumbnail. You know what you're getting into. You saw the title, so forth and so on. So, with all of that being said, how are you doing?
I am doing great, thank you. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm
Hey.
Honestly, 2.5 has been, just genuinely speaking, a pleasure. How's it going, Zolto? Yeah, 2.5 has been a pleasure. Phrolova, really cool character. Like, I know a lot of people were, you know, concerned about, like, would Kuro stick the landing, you know, because different people had different expectations, I guess you could say, for some of the characters. And specifically, one of the expectations for Phrolova was this idea of, like, is she going to be a bad guy the entire time? You know, are they going to change her from, you know, the Phrolova that we used to know, so forth and so on.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people were pretty, overall, I think people were excited or pleased.
Yes, 100%. I mean, I was very, very happy. I think anyone who watched my stream saw that I was very happy with the story. It reminded me of other stories that I really, really like, you know, like Your Name, Planescape. There were some themes in there that I really liked. And I thought it was refreshing to see a story that was so different to what we've seen before and kind of challenged a lot of our perceptions about the story we have seen so far.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah, like, I guess one of the things that kind of stood out to me initially was just that we have, like, they put a lot of effort into the expressions. And
Yeah, yes.
I feel like the expressions of the characters, like specifically for Phrolova, but even with Rover's expressions were a bit more subtle, I'd say. But even with that being the case, looking at those expressions really kind of pieced a lot of it together. There were like a lot of little small things that I noticed with like Phrolova when I don't know if you noticed this, but did you notice that Phrolova basically throughout the entire time, oh wow, hello lady _Cartethiya on Twitch, welcome.
Hey.
But yeah, like, did you notice that essentially, like I said, that people were or not so much people, but Phrolova was trying to get Rover to basically, she was kind of prodding Rover a little bit throughout the story, like trying to see if they would remember, just like potentially remember.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was just like, I was like, okay, like when she was saying like,
Are we there yet?
you know, she mentioned that line of like starting over. She said that like very early in the story.
Yeah.
And when I looked back at it, I was like, oh, okay, she's trying to, it's almost like she's trying to see if she can spark Rover's memory.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it was just, they did a really good job. Phrolova, her voice actor, shout out to her voice actor. I don't know who her voice actor is. Do you know?
It's Ray Lim. Shout out to Ray Lim. She's amazing.
Yes. Like, I think she's the perfect voice for Phrolova, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know how some people would say, like, with acting, they would say, like, you know, Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man or something like that. Like, she is Phrolova because, yeah, it was the perfect casting, I have to say.
100%. I think she's so. It's interesting because she has a very unique sort of delivery that's almost a bit like passive, and it's easy to be like, oh, Phrolova doesn't care about anything, but she does. She just cares about one specific thing, and everything else is kind of, you know, I think that's really clever. You know, that kind of delivery she has. It's not just, oh, she's a cool character. It's no, she's just so focused on one thing that all the other things are trivial to her because she has one clear goal, and it's everything that's driving her.
Exactly.
So I thought that was amazing, and it was amazing to see how her delivery, her vocal delivery, changed in the flashbacks.
Yeah, I noticed that. I did notice
that's
that.
good stuff.
Yeah, I was honestly one of the things that was really interesting, I guess I would say, is that when she this is the line that still to this day hits my heart, by the way. It's not so much in the flashback, but you actually do hear, I will say, it wasn't the flashback, but it was when Rover goes to the Lost Beyond, and you hear her basically like crying about her violin.
Yeah.
And essentially, even though she's technically wearing her normal outfit, like the one that you're used to seeing her in, her voice is the voice of the prior, version of her, if you want to call it that. And so
100%.
But I would tell you this, my favorite line, and I'd like to hear your favorite line, and then after that we can get into like all the lore questions, because Amanda Richel's audience, because she's a part-time content creator now.
Apparently.
Her audience had some questions for me as the resident lore guy. So I want to ask, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say my favorite line, like in terms of delivery, and then I'd like to know if you have one. So
yeah,
and this is just putting her on the spot, by the way. She was not prepared for this question, so give her some grace. But basically mine was when she said, I waited for a long time, I won't wait anymore. And it wasn't just the line, but I feel like somebody specially animated that scene, because it did not feel like a normal, like some people were saying like it looks like it was like rotoscoped or something. Like the amount of expression they showed on her face, the subtlety in the movements, her voice kind of trembling when she said, I waited for a long time, I will wait, to this day, like that hits my heart.
100%. And like, this is not a cop out, but I would have said the exact same line. I think there is something about that line that was so impactful, because of the time in the story when that line actually came, because by that point we had the full context of what had happened, and we understood her motivations, we understood her viewpoint. And I think also, a lot of people have been making this parallel to Shorekeeper, and how we've got these characters who have both sort of waited for Rover, but the difference is that one stays waiting until he comes back and one chooses not to. And it's not to say that either choice is right or wrong, like they both made the right choice for them. But I think there's something incredibly, as you say, impactful about the way she said that, because I think there's so much subtext about how that kind of, to me, explained her character. Like, why is she the way that that we see her and that we've known her? Because it feels like in that sort of flashback sequence where we see her at the concert hall, which is sort of her mourning the village and playing that eulogy, she's obviously grieving and she's very sad, but I think she's also intrigued and maybe hopeful about this idea of starting over that Rover is presenting to her, probably for the first time, this idea that maybe she could start over. And so seeing that hope happen in her, but then her giving up on the hope that she can start over, I think that was really what that line solidified to me. It's that, no, she's definitely set on her path. She doesn't believe in that anymore. This is the consequence of a character who has been inspired, but then felt like the promise was not delivered. Whether or not you agree that a promise was made, I just thought that was... Yeah. I just thought that was really, really interesting. So yeah, 100%, that was the line. I think that really, if that was one line, that was the line, wasn't it?
No, yeah. I think, and some other people, it's crazy that the lines are, and this once again goes to, listen, I'm going to be the first to say, because I know people are going to say it, and no one is perfect. We are all growing. We're all learning. And I say that to say, like, I'm not saying that Wuthering Waves is the perfect game, because we oftentimes notice that we'll be like, oh man, they couldn't possibly do better than this. And then lo and behold, it's like, oh wow, how did they top what they just did? And so that in and of itself shows that, they are growing themselves as well. And so the reason why I say that is because when you want to talk about like masterful storytelling, I don't think I've ever seen someone or a group of people be as hit by black screen with white text.
Yeah.
And that line we were once dear to each other. I think that's actually a poem too. I was doing some research on that.
It is.
Yeah, and people were just saying like, but now we're like strangers. Basically, it's like people were saying like it wasn't even voiced, and it was hidden people in the fields. So
yeah,
I mean 2.5. Go for it.
Yeah, I would just say that was like an excellent way of subverting this whole lame storytelling, like it's a cop out to just go to the black screen white text. And they did it in such an impactful way that felt very deliberate, but it was also very clever done, saying you can actually tell incredible storytelling with just one line of text on a black screen. 100%. So I thought that was really well played.
Yeah, I mean, like silent stories exist, you know, like so it's very much, I would say, like there's definitely an art to it.
100%.
And so, with that being said,
yes,
questions.
Let's get into it. So, guys, just to summarize for you, I asked you yesterday, so I didn't give you a lot of time, sorry, but I asked you yesterday if you had any like burning lore questions for life lessons, because obviously we would be doing this today. And a lot of you sent in some really, really good questions. So the gist here is that both Life and I will just be, we're both streaming, we'll be running around just doing some casual, chill exploration in our own games. And I'll be asking the questions that you sent to me, and he will be filling us in on everything we need to know. So hopefully this is going to clear up some of the maybe confusion or uncertainty that some people have about not just 2.5, but lore concepts in the game in general. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the new stuff, but also some of the old stuff. So hopefully if you send in a question, it will be answered today, thanks to Life Lessons.
Got you, kinda. All right. And like I said, for my chat as well, I will be, we're going to be doing a lot of answering today. As you all know, I'm very much the type of person who responds to chat and, engages with you all. So it might be a little bit specifically while we're having our conversation with Cartethiya, his voice actor, Amanda Rischel. And I just want to say, like, Amanda, I know we say Cartethiya's voice actor all the time, but just generally speaking, I want to just, say you as a person, your insight to the game, and I'm sure your community that you're building over there feels the same way. I say that for, like, I guess you could say YouTube purposes, but we are here for Amanda. We are here for, so I just want to make that clear, because she's an awesome person. She's a very thoughtful person. The first time I ever spoke to her, I was just like really refreshed by her maturity, and like I said, like legitimately, like I said, her thoughtfulness, because she's a very well spoken and thought out person. So with that being said, we're going to be focusing primarily on some of these questions, and then I'll get to you guys in chat as we continue.
Amazing. All right. So the first question that I received is, can you help just summarize for us what is Fenrico's lore like? What actually happened to him in the game?
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so to answer, the first thing I will say, just to repeat the question, can everybody hear Amanda pretty well, just for clarity? I think I have her tuned above myself, so you should hear her. But if in the event that you can't, just let me know. So yeah, Fenrico, what's his lore? What's his deal? Why is he the way he is? The first thing I'll say is the way that Wuthering Waves does their lore, and I think some people will try to make comparisons like, oh wait, yes, this is Cartethiya's voice actor we're speaking with. So
hey.
The way that Wuthering Waves does their lore is very much show don't tell. That was actually one of the criticisms from the very beginning, and this just kind of shows like they are listening to player feedback. And so essentially, the way, as somebody who has done my fair share of deep dives into the lore, that's just kind of how they do it. And so there's gonna be certain things that are not put directly in the story the entire time, but they do still show it in the story, mind you. It's just that they really want you to play the game. And I know that sounds crazy, like play the game. What? Yeah, they want you to play the game. They want you to explore. Their artists did a great job. And basically, there are some letters that you can find throughout the world. They're called torn pages. If you go to your your backpack. If you go to your backpack, you go into the quest item section, there's like a lot of stuff, right? And so basically in these, there is a letter that basically explains that Fenrico, it really goes back to the pilgrim sale, right? And this is like, you know, obviously Fenrico represents the order, so his lore is going to be order related.
Yeah.
And so there's a letter that explains that you remember the pilgrim sale, it's a really bad thing, all that. So it turns out that originally the pilgrim sale was meant to be like a symbol of, you know, a thing of devotion, right? It was not always like a, you know, one-way trip for heretics based on the order's whims that day. Like it was actually like you know, a thing of a symbol of piety, I guess you could say. And so the thing is, eventually it got too costly because they used to have the finest ships and the finest chefs. I actually talk about this in my 2.0 lore video, by the way, if anybody would like a more I guess deep dive into this topic. But it used to be like really expensive to run it, and so basically they had to stop it because it was just too expensive. Like they had the finest chefs, the finest crewmates, captain, all that. Then one day, Fenrico, there was a shroud, is what it was described as. A shroud covered his face. And basically that day, shortly after that time period, shortly after, the pilgrim sale started back.
Okay.
Yeah. And essentially from that point on, they stopped hiring like, you know, fancy people. It was like bare bones, like barely enough food for anybody to survive. And essentially what we learned is that it seems that the Threnodian started taking control of Fenrico at that point back then. And yeah, essentially that's what happened. And it happened, Cantarella actually told us that it happened to Napoleon II as well. So this is just a common trend of the Threnodian taking over people in places of power.
Gotcha. Which makes sense, I suppose. You know, like that's how you control everything, isn't it? You go for the people in power.
Yeah, you tried to do that with Mia as well. The original plan with Mia was to get her into high society, basically, by being a successful gladiator, and then try to use her to control the septimontians, who didn't, you know, have any faith to begin with. So, yeah, tried and true playbook.
Classic Threnodian.
Yeah, it's but like I said, you can definitely for a more detailed thing, you guys can the 2.0 the thumbnail's like called Antichrist or something like that, and so feel free.
That tickles.
So, fellas, that's kind of how it explains how he got, you know, how did the Threnodian get to him? But then at the end, when we fight Fenrico in 2.5, spoilers for 2.5, guys, he breaks free from that hold.
Yes.
What happens?
I mean, well, yeah, I mean, basically, the lamp, right? So if you remember in 2.0, there was a beautiful cutscene, right? Absolutely beautiful cutscene. The stained glass window one, where Carlotta tells us about the past that was seemingly trying to be hidden by the Order. And you hear about Napoleon II, and essentially he went on a pilgrimage. So in 2.5, there is a spot where after so you know that scene where you walk, the Sanctuary of Faith is where you are, and you do that little thing where you have to like kneel and pray and praise, basically trying to like climb your way into the, exactly. So after that scene, you get into, you basically go to where it looks like Fenrico's desk.
Yeah.
And there's some notes there that basically tell you, you know, what his plans were, et cetera, et cetera. And this, in this area though, there was the lamp. And so that lamp is the same lamp that Napoleon II used. And we learned that Napoleon II went on his pilgrimage and then he came back with that lamp. And so basically, yeah, like the lamp falls over, it cleanses the primus of all of that, you know, all the stuff, the dark tide, basically, that was controlling him. And I mean, I'd say to be honest, like Fenrico's situation is pretty straightforward at that point. He just, he lost all, you know, he was being used, he was being drained. The dark tide was keeping them quote unquote immortal. And, you know, Phrolova even talks about that with her research, right? Like she's trying to find immortality. So it's essentially like this thing that was sustaining his body, kind of like a parasite. Once the parasite was removed from his body, yeah, he didn't really have much left. He didn't have much juice.
I see. And he was able to regain, I suppose, his senses for long enough
to warn us.
Yeah. Okay, nice. That makes sense.
And he told us, like, hey, the Journeying Paradise. And you are very familiar with the Journeying Paradise.
I am, yes. It's not a good thing. I'm fairly sure that, if I recall correctly, in 2.2, Cartethiya tells us a bit about the Journeying Paradise and what it actually is.
You creeped me out.
Yeah?
I legitimately, I was creeped out. And basically, and like I said, thank you all first-time chatters. Appreciate you. Chat, if y'all can help the first-time chatter out with their question. But yeah, when I saw that, I was honestly just like, oh no, it's over. She's taken over by the Threnodian. Because Cartethiya was just like, yeah, the journey, it's paradise. The dark tide is paradise. And the basically evangelical cult really is what it's described as. And so, yeah, like we learned in 2.5, the foundation for the Journeying Paradise is done. Like things are good. When I saw Fenrico was in this patch, I knew things were bad. I was like, you would think like, oh yeah, he's gonna come toward the end of Threnodians. It's like, nope. Like he's showing up now. So if he's showing up now, that means that things are about to get really bad. Yeah.
Obviously, we can't go into any future stuff, but it's not looking good.
That's my speculation.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say that it doesn't look good, and I think a lot of eagle-eyed people saw that he was drawing, in the end of 2.5, he's drawing the dark tide from Abinolium. So doesn't look good, guys. Doesn't look good.
Yeah, it was interesting because, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. It looks kind of like the Abinolium, but it also doesn't at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know, but like some people are saying, is that? I don't know. We'll find out.
It definitely has similar architecture for sure.
Do that.
But yeah, it's long story short, it's not good. But yeah, so like that's what I would say for not Christopher, for Napoleon II. The second. For Fenrico, in a similar manner to Napoleon II, the Threnodian took him over. And I mean, I guess my biggest question here is, how do people feel about Fenrico, now? Like, do people have grace for him? I think that's the question on my mind. Like, do people have grace for him, considering this situation that, he's unfortunately was in? Or are people just like, nope, I don't, he bad to the core. I don't feel sorry for him at all. I'm just kind of curious how people feel about that, but yeah. Yeah,
that is a good question. I mean, I kind of feel like, for my money, I feel like he kind of, I don't think there was bad intent. I think he was, it's a tragic example of someone trying to avoid one thing and then, ironically doing it. But, I feel like it's presented in a way where he genuinely had good intent.
Yeah.
He wasn't, like, he wasn't willingly the Threnodians' pawn.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my opinion too. Like, I'm not sure. I'm sure he's probably done bad things. Like, or I want to say, I don't want to assume, because like that, he's the one that we saw for real. I'm sure he's not the perfect person, like the most perfect person ever. But at the very least, we can say that he wasn't trying to drive all of Renacida. He had good intentions, and he wasn't trying to drive all of Renacida into the Threnodians' trap, because it was very odd when you consider, like, he was trying, like, when you read the notes and you hear him, like, even Rover called it, I was like, this is kind of contradictory. How are you trying to stop the dark tide with the dark tide, like with the power of the Threnodian? It didn't make sense. And so you can see the madness that people are being driven to. Oh my gosh, there's a Fool's Troop member here.
Oh,
okay.
Hello.
Okay. That's weird. Okay. I'm in the Faculty Quictorium of the Deep, and a Fool's Troop member is in here, so we'll look into that later.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's right. On Fenrico, I'd say.
Okay, I mean, I'm going to hit you straight with a new big question.
All right.
Because this was hotly requested. Can you, for all of us, please summarize the Rover and Phrolova timeline? Like, what happened chronologically between them? Yeah,
that's good. That's really good. And I can do this relatively quickly. I have a video where I'll go into this in more detail. It's in the works now. So it's interesting, that question. I was like, oh, okay, cool, because I was literally working on that. So what I will say is this. So start, which is, we're gonna talk about this under the assumption that Rover is the one that Phrolova spoke to.
Yeah, we're gonna have to preface it with this is the assumption.
Yeah, because if not, none of this matters. Like, legitimately.
Yeah.
Which is, in and of itself, opens another can of worms. Thanks, Wuthering Waves writers. But basically, if that was Rover, the person, like, assuming Rover just one day randomly decided to go to this, theater house unprovoked.
Yeah.
Maybe Tethys system helped. Who knows? But Rover meets Phrolova. From what we know, Rover meets Phrolova in the opera house. That's the start. After the conversation in the opera house, some time passes, and then, oh gosh, I just want to make this clear. The whole seeing the Grand Overseer, Grand Architect, Devoted Watcher, that is not chronological. Just so we're clear, that is not a chronological. It wasn't like Rover talked to her, and then a couple minutes later, the Devout Watcher, Grand Architect showed up. That was not chronological.
Okay.
So yeah, Rover ends up talking to her. Then we learn in what is this place called? The Lost Beyond. There's like some notes on her desk. You can read those, and you even during the story, there's different words, but basically you learn that after she talks to Rover, she has this sense of life, purpose, what have you. And then she goes on a mission, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna try to start over, because beforehand she was just trying to express herself through music.
Yeah,
that's all she was doing. She was probably living hundreds of years and just trying to properly lament, pun intended. She was trying to properly lament. Yeah. And how are you doing, everybody? Thank you so much for coming through.
Hi everyone.
She was trying to properly lament the situation, right? And so we learned that after, she's like trying to like make a song to express the emotions and, kind of like a homage to those people who lost their lives. So basically then when Rover gives her this new lease on life, this new path, that's when she basically says, okay, I started serving the order. Like maybe, divinity can help. That was the idea. Yeah. And she found no solace in that. Then she turned to science. She ended up finding no solace there. She then turned to the, basically like the waveform phenomenon. She was like, you know what? Maybe I go to like the source in a way. Just trying all these different things. And if you remember, in her trailer, her Resonator showcase, there was this, kind of, it wasn't black screen, white text, but like there was some text and it said 936 times. And it was talking about the town Ouroboros, right? But I feel like that was probably because her town is Ostenia, I believe is what the guy on the pier says. So I think that was more so and if you know what Ouroboros is, it's the snake that eats its tail, the loop. So it was more so just for the purpose, it was like an analogy. She tried all those, I failed, I tried, I failed. That's what I said in her notebook. That was those times. The working with the order, the science, all that stuff, that was those failures. And so then from there, after she's failed a bunch of times, the Grand Overseer, I keep saying Overseer, the Grand Architect.
Yeah.
He's called Devoted Watcher for a reason.
Right.
Like he, in my humble opinion, I believe he was watching her this entire time.
Okay.
And the reason why is because how would he know this, like the whole starting over line, it's put in quotation marks when he says it. He's like, you want to start over. How would he know that otherwise?
That's true. That's a good point.
He's called a Devoted Watcher for a reason. Like bro has been there for a very long time. And okay, so this is where things get creepy. All right. Could I ask you to go to the Lost Beyond real quick?
Yeah.
I want to show you something. I want to show you all.
Okay. We're gonna do this. We're gonna go to the. Oh no, wait. How do I do that?
Liquid Rover is crazy, Kilo. Liquid Rover is crazy. Shout out to the Metal Gear Solid reference, or Metal Gear
Okay,
reference.
so I get there through the Fabricatorium, right?
So basically the way you do it is you go to the Fabricatorium, you go to the final one where the Fenrico boss fight is, and then so you hit R1.
Yeah.
Then you go all the way to the end on the left side. Like if you're on your map, that is. If you're on the map, you hit R1, it opens up the overview. Then you go all the way to the leftmost icon. That's where Fenrico is.
Yeah, so I've gone to Fenrico's map.
Now you scroll down on the map.
Yep. Oh, 1 sec.
And there's a tiny little diamond thingy or whatever with a blue symbol. That's where the Lost Beyond is.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, traveling there now. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. It was a little bit confusing for me at first as well.
Yeah.
I was like, how do I get back here?
Yeah. Thank God you knew.
Yeah.
I would have never zoomed out.
Yep. So
Right. So we're in the Lost Beyond now.
All right. This is masterful stalker indeed. What is your take on the meteor? Do you think we're actually going to talk about that, Lady Cartethiya, Lady_Cartethiya, on Twitch? So this is where things get very creepy. All right. So I would like for you to where are you in the town right now?
So I'm looking down at Phrolova's house.
Okay, I want you to
I'm on a hill looking down.
Oh, okay, you're probably at the same one that I'm at. Are you on the one that's on the left side of the island? Because there's a left and a right side of the island.
Yeah, that's a good point. Are
you looking at her house straight on or from the side?
Yeah, straight on.
Okay, good. You're right. You're in the exact spot that I want you to be in, actually. So I want you to look up in the sky.
Yeah.
And do you notice? You could even like just 360.
Yeah.
Thank you, screenshot_chibi. If you 360, now I have Cantarella. It's actually a bit easier if you have Cantarella. Do you have her by chance?
No, okay. I don't, sadly.
No problem. But basically, if you look in the sky, you can see these 3 lights that show up in succession: red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
If you were
these are the ones.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, that's it. Yeah, like they're all over, so it's impossible to miss.
Yeah.
If you remember in the trailer when the meteor came down, the meteor didn't look like a normal space rock. It very much had like a red tint around it. And if somebody were to go back to that scene, you would actually see the exact same colors in the sky around those meteors: red, white, and blue.
Okay.
So do you know what Fraxidus means?
Like who the Fraxidus are, or like the origin of the word?
The word.
I mean, I'd guess something with fractures, but tell me, please.
You're very close. Fractured star.
Right. Nice. Okay.
And
very cool.
The symbol for the Fraxidus is essentially these 3 kind of like star-like motifs. You can see it on her. Yeah. I knew it. Somebody's chat. I said I knew it. You can see the motif when they announced Phrolova. If you had Phrolova, you could also see on her terminal. You can see the little symbol. I want to say even in her. Let me see. Is it her experience forte examination report? Yeah. Basically, like it's visible in a couple different places, basically. And so the point here being that these symbols in the sky are reminiscent of those meteors, and those meteors are reminiscent of the symbol of the Fraxidus, fractured star. In a lot of ways, you could say meteorites are like fractured stars. They broke off and they fall into our atmosphere. Yeah. So I say all that to say, because I know the question is about Phrolova and Rover, but it's kind of hard to not talk about the Grand Architect when
I see
that. So all I'm saying is, how would the Grand Architect know? In the way they called him in this cutscene is devoted watcher. I believe that's intentional. How would that character know about the concept of starting over? How would that character know about? And this is I'll just leave it at this part. How would that character know about Triss and all these other people?
Yeah.
So we're just
if they hadn't been watching.
Yes, exactly. If they hadn't been a devoted watcher. So we'll leave it at that. But basically, after that happens, she goes on this new path. And the reason why I want you to come to the Fabricatorium, because if you go into her house, Frolova's house, and you read the note on the table. Let's see.
And she's here, actually, in my game now.
Same
She's sat
here.
there.
She's sitting down.
Yeah.
So if you go to the note on the table, it says, he never appeared again. I have already found a path of my own. This new path is the right one, which I shall complete the symphony of life and death. I no longer need friends. All I need is a sharpened sword. Okay, I have a feeling I know, because I did see some of the questions. I looked at like the your post that you did on Twitter, so I saw some of the questions. I have a feeling this one might come up. I'm not going to get into it too deep right now until the question's asked, but that line in the journal answers a lot of things, a lot of questions that people are probably curious about. But basically, long story short, after that, she becomes a part of the Fraxidus. We see her for the first time in Jinzhou, you know, with Scar, and we learned from the cutscene that was all planned. And you know, yeah, she was, you know, doing her thing. She sends an entire army of tacit discords to you know, to Jinzhou during the war, basically. Sorry guys, she's not an angel. I'm sorry. I think the word is empathy. I empathize with her for sure.
Yeah.
But we have to acknowledge that she's not, there's some messed up stuff she's done. And so so basically, yeah, she does that. One little note that I figured out, and some other people have too as well. You know, the tacit discord, and I think you probably did play this part with Scar. So you remember that there's one tacit discord. It was called, they're called a tic tac, and Yang Yang was talking about it, and it had the voice of a little girl.
Yes.
Well, when you put the pieces together with Phrolova and the Lost Beyond, and what she's trying to do, fusing human frequencies with tacit discords, no, I disagree. She's my queen. Based. So yeah, when you put all that together, yeah, that it looks like that TD. I don't think it was a coincidence. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it was a coincidence that was there at the same time that Scar was there. And yeah, it was just
it seems like the Fraxidus and the Grand Architect have been architecting for a while.
Which is why I don't blame Rover for not trusting Phrolova.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I guess you could argue that, you know, while she obviously has still done some questionable things that you could fairly call her out on, she is also to an extent someone who has been a victim of manipulation from the Fraxidus.
100%.
You know, they've kind of engineered her grief and then used her grief to drive her to do whatever served their purpose, right?
Especially if you're of the opinion that they are the one who sent the meteor, which is a whole nother...
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it literally looked like the Fraxidus. But...
It did. Especially because there's a new type of Fraxidus enemy in 2.5, which they have that kind of star look. It's like a Fraxidus TD merge.
Yes, and we actually see that one. I know you. I know a lot of people did skip to 2.0, which is understandable. Especially in the event, I definitely would say if you haven't played, this is to anybody who skipped to 2.0. If you haven't played 1.1, 1.3, they're amazing stories. Definitely check it out. But we actually saw at the end of, and so that's the thing too. We see after the Jinzhou situation, we then see Phrolova in Mount Firmament.
Yes.
At the very end of 1.1, Mount Firmament, she basically gets that information about the second resonator awakening. She sees Jinshi and she's like, oh, okay. This is something I'll keep in mind. And so, yeah, we actually see a figure in a red cloak. I mentioned it. I can't remember which video I mentioned it in, but I mentioned it in one of my videos as well. That particular figure, and I'm actually looking at them now. They have like this star motif on their head, their face, basically. And so, yeah, so we see her there. After that, we see her go to Renacita. Now, one of the things that we learned, for those who did not do Chacona's quest, because I know some people didn't, it's basically a main story quest for what it's worth. It's really high quality, and it actually, I think some of the people who skip Chacona's event quest, that might be one of the reasons why they don't understand Fenrico, like some of the bits about Fenrico, because Fenrico shows up at the end of that. And he essentially informs us that the Praxidus had been in Renacida for like, not even just him, but the story in itself. They've been in Renacida for like at the very least the past 20 plus years. I mean, we technically get that in Septimont as well, but they've been like scheming in Raguna.
Yeah.
Because like Fenrico basically says, yeah, like I had some people telling me that somebody was going around talking to people saying that they were just a traveling artist seeking inspiration, which is extremely Christopher coded, I guess you would say.
Yeah,
so
a
yeah.
little bit.
So then, you know, obviously Septimont, so forth, so on. Well, you know, we fight Phrolova. That happens, and a lot of this it's all very connected. I like that personally about the story. It's all very connected, the way that they do things, and yeah, like we see Phrolova, we scrap. You know, we go to Septimont, the dream happens, and then, you know, 2.5 ends up being what it is. So yeah, that seems to be where that is. I feel like the reason that question is being asked is probably for another reason, but I'll wait to see if that question gets answered. I mean, gets asked, but I have a feeling that there's a deeper question behind that.
Okay, I hear you. Okay, so now that we've kind of been summarizing the Rover Phrolova timeline, what happens to Phrolova? Like, how does she become half human, half tacit discord? So when that impact happens, whether or not, you know, it's a normal meteor or something else, what is it that happens to her that makes her become half tacit discord? Do you have any theories on that?
Yeah, I mean, so this was actually a really quick answer. It really is just, it's very straightforward. Her resonance awakening is what did it.
Right.
When the meteor shot hit, in that moment is when she became, because the thing is, that was the only way for her to I don't want to say the only way, but that's essentially the means by which she was able to continue living. We see the blue, you know, stuff on her body. And so those echoes have Lycoris on them. Interesting. I gotta look back at that. But yeah, so basically, yeah, it was just the meteor hit. She awoke her resonance ability as a mutant resonator. And so maybe what I can at least tell you guys is this. Mutant resonators are resonators who have, because not anybody can be a resonator, just so we're clear. It's not something that any Joe Schmo can do, which is the reason they're trying to create artificial resonators. Because it's not something that can naturally, because the thing is, if it could naturally happen, they would just take a bunch of humans and do experiments on them.
Yeah,
I mean, technically they are, but it would be different. The nature by which they would do it would be different. It wouldn't so much be artificial. It would just be, you know, forced awakening. But mutant basically means if you weren't born with your ability, that's kind of what that means.
Right. Okay.
So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. That's a good and easy question to answer, I guess. So we've talked about this a little bit, but in your opinion, is the game implying that Rover was the person who made the promise, or do you think that it's implying that maybe it wasn't and it was the Grand Architect pretending to be Rover? Do we think that the reason Rover is confused is because they wiped their memory and so they don't remember doing it, or do we think they never did it?
Honestly, that's a 50-50.
Okay. We don't have enough information, do we? Because it's, you know, Phrolova's an unreliable narrator when she's telling Rover about these events, right? Because she also has an agenda. Yeah,
and like I said, the thing about it is, all I can say is what I said earlier. It is very strange. We know at the very least the devoted watcher, i.e. Grand Architect, is... Thank you, Bedex. The devoted watcher, i.e. Grand Architect, had to be there.
Yeah.
We know that much. Besides that, I can't say if that was Rover or was a Grand Architect, but at the very least, it makes sense to me that the Grand Architect was at least there. Yeah. And so, yeah.
I think just from a storytelling perspective, so guys, just to make it clear again, I don't actually know anything, so I can't spoil anything because I'm also just guessing, but I think it makes for a more compelling story if Rover was the person to make the promise, because otherwise it's kind of, I think it cheapens the complexity of the story a little bit if it was just, you know, a big old misunderstanding. Like if that promise was never made, then there's less to debate. Then it's just a big sad misunderstanding, and you know they're both right and they're both being tricked, and that I think cheapens the emotional impact of it. I think it is a more complex discussion and a sadder story if the Rover in a previous, you know, incarnation did make the promise with great intention, and then, you know, for reasons we don't fully understand yet but will probably be explained, they had to wipe their memory, or that was the best choice for them, and in doing so, unfortunately, they did forget about that promise.
Exactly.
I think then it's a better story, because then it is a real tragedy. It's not just, you know, a scheming villain manipulated these poor people. And also, it would be such a strange plan, wouldn't it? You know, if Rover had never gone there in the first place and had never interacted with Phrolova, then why would the Grand Architect choose to engineer, like, you know, make her believe that? They could have chosen anyone, right?
Fair. No, yeah, like
so. Yeah. I don't know, but
I think that's 100, and that logic applies to a couple different things. I want to clarify something real quick though. You're 100% right, Ali. Mutant Resonator means you awoke. You didn't naturally awaken. You awoke via some tragedy, basically. Whereas normal Resonators, not so much that they were born that way, even though there are some who are born with their abilities, but it basically just means they naturally got them over time. So it's like natural versus there was a catalyst event.
Yeah, it's like it was born out of a traumatic event.
Exactly.
Kind of like with Danjin, isn't it? Like, you know, that something happened that kind of.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, I just want to clarify that. Thank you, Ally, for that.
That's a good point. Good point.
But yeah,
all right, so
go for it.
Do you think there are in the lore that we've seen? Do you think that we have any like real tangible hints to why Rover chose to start over?
So, the best that we really have was what we got in 1.3, being when Shorekeeper was basically explaining, helping us kind of figure some things out. We're trying to solve the lament. Now, okay, here I'm gonna give. We're gonna go to crazy theories territory. All right, crazy theory territory.
Hit us.
What if? So you remember how we were saying like the devoted watcher, right? Like they seem to have this, you know, view of the world where they're kind of seeing everything. They're there. They, for what it's worth, are just very knowledgeable and aware, I guess is what I'll say. Hashtag aware. What if, and somebody in my chat said this yesterday, what if it's the case that the Grand Architect's ability is to be able to peer into people's memories?
Right.
And that's why, now, I do think, like, that's possibly why they knew about the line about, like, you know, starting over and all that. And then also knowing, like, you know, why does the Grand Architect know what Triss looks like?
Yeah,
like,
that's a good point.
Like, that makes no sense how they would know that. And so to get like a perfect, so now mind you, I think it still could be argued that the Grand Architect was there when, cause like the devoted watcher thing still counts. I think that still makes sense. But just even beyond devoted watcher, even if you were there, it doesn't necessarily explain why they know what, well, so apparently I have to check with other translations, but in English, Phrolova's voice line's called the Grand Architect a he. So I'm just going to say he.
Right.
It could be different in other translations. It could be like neutral, but we'll find out in time. And so basically, what if that's the case, that they can peer into people's memories? And because they can peer into people's memories, that's the reason why Rover keeps resetting their memories. So the Grand Architect can't use that against them.
That's compelling. I like that.
And so it's like suffering, like, you know, Phrolova was basically saying, oh, you're taking the easy way out. You're losing your memories, so you aren't feeling all the pain. And it's just like, and we because the thing is, we got a little bit of that with Camellia.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a little bit of that with Camellia, where Camelia's story quest at the end, she kind of, you know, we find out, she's been kind of resetting her memories. And so she asks Rover, like, hey, you does that affect you at all?
Yeah.
Like you know, and that's the first time we ever got like to you know, see into Rover's psyche, I guess you could say, mental state. to ask that question, like, yeah, how do you feel about this, Rover? And so once again, it's being presented to us in not so subtle ways. Because just for clarity, whatchamacallit, I do know some people, like I said, some people did skip 1.3. So this is a very clear way, and it's the focal point, I'd say, of this patch. So yeah, that would be a really interesting thing. If that was the reason
That
why.
would be a really cool thing. Yeah. Because then, as you say, it becomes this kind of game of chess where the Grand Architect obviously has an advantage in being able to see memories, but, you know, by constantly resetting and leaving, because Rover kind of leaves messages or, like, you know, little triggers for themselves to, like, at certain key points find these things, right? So it's kind of like Rover is guiding, you know, like their future versions, you know, like, you know, post memory wipe down like a familiar path so that they will find this information slowly. Yeah, but that's very interesting, and I think that also feels very aligned with how at the end of 2.4, you know, Cartethiya talks about how the Sentinel kept some information hidden from the Threnodian, and you know, there's constantly this kind of idea of Rover tracking down this information that has been hidden for Rover to find at the right time and place, and that would kind of be consistent with Rover can't know too much too soon, like it has to happen at the right time. I think that's really interesting, and I'm very curious to see if that's how it's going to play out.
And I also agree, somebody in chat was saying that they feel like there would also be other reasons. I'm not saying that that's the only reason. I think it's a compelling reason. And just for clarity, everybody, the fun of theory crafting is not getting it 100% correct. The fun of theory crafting is to put, like, is to discuss, really, to discuss our theories. And like I said, sometimes I'll get it right, sometimes I'll get it wrong, but the fun aspect is, does it make sense? Is it possible? And like I said, it's a conversation piece, is what I'll say. But yeah, I do think there are other potential reasons. My original thought process around why they keep losing their memories was just that it's like so have you seen Avengers Endgame?
Yes.
So you know how Doctor Strange was basically like, I saw like a bunch of different outcomes, and out of all these different outcomes, this is the one outcome that had the highest chance. I feel like that could also be a potential thing where basically, like, this was the outcome, perhaps, where it's like this was necessary to achieve the goal. Like the memory reset is like a necessary, you know, I don't want to say a necessary evil, but just a necessary consequence to achieve the goal. And so, that's what I would say. There's a couple of different really engaging theories about it. And I think that, you know, like I said, all we know right now is that Shorekeeper told us we did it so that we can stop the lament. And
so that there is definitely a plan.
Exactly.
We just don't know what it is yet.
You could say, you know, so Rover can feel more human, to live life as a human. That could be it. Like, you know, one common theme we see with Rover is this idea of not letting people do it alone, right?
Yes.
We see that with Shorekeeper. We see that with Cartethiya. We see that with Lupa. We see, like, there's like, that was kind of the thing with Lupa and Mia, right? Where it's just like Mia had to do it on her own, whereas Lupa had help. And so this team effort concept. And so, that's, once again, maybe Rover had been doing it, you know, kind of like a solo dolo type person this whole time. And now they're trying to actually, you know, create bonds, you know, and lead, specifically past Rover is leading current Rover in a direction to get them to create said bonds. So,
okay, that's pretty compelling. Okay, so if we stay on 2.5 for a second more, what do you think happens with Phrolova at the end? Do you think she dies or not? Or like, is she alive in the Lost Beyond? Like, could she come back?
So this is one that split a lot of people in the community. The two big questions of 2.5, is she still alive? And who was right? Those are the two questions that everybody is asking. I've thought about those pretty deeply. So is she still alive? Yes.
Okay.
However, there's a big however here. The big but. I don't think she is necessarily able to just come back, because the reality is, what is the point of that cutscene? Like it would cheapen the situation if she could just, you know, get up and walk out, and, you know, none of that really mattered truly. Like it did matter. And so the way that I would describe it is this. Frequencies didn't fade, he was alive. Yes, Max. Basically, she is alive in the same way that the Threnodian is alive.
Yeah.
The Threnodian does not have a physical body. It kind of just it's a roaming frequency.
Yes.
And that's kind of the state that she's in right now. Her body is at the bottom of the ocean currently. Now, and that was the thing that people were confused about. They're like, oh wait, no, she's in the bottom of that energy fluid or whatever. No, she's at the bottom of the ocean. The energy fluid, if you were to go to the Fabricatorium of the Deep, there's the energy hub, right? That's a place.
Yeah.
But that's not where she fell. She didn't fall in, like, because if you go to the energy hub, you can see the water looks all murky and looks like oil spill and stuff like that. That's what she was stopping Rover from engaging with.
Yes.
Where she fell with the whole Fenrico area in that spot, that's just the ocean.
Right. Oh, okay.
And so yeah, she's that's where she fell. She's at the bottom of the ocean. Now somebody could definitely fish her body out for sure. But you know, who's gonna do that? Who was there to do it?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe you could say, you know, okay, there's something really interesting happened that they posted, right?
Yeah.
They posted something very interesting that it was like 2 days ago or last night or something. I don't know if you saw it, but it was basically this video of Phrolova being almost swallowed by Cetus the Tiebreaker.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that, but that sounds pretty intriguing.
Phoebe will fish her out. That is, oh my gosh, that's funny.
The fish are up there.
The fishing event. But yeah, no, like, so it looks like she's getting, it was kind of like Jonah and the whale sort of a situation.
Yeah, yeah.
She did kind of do a thing where she like, so okay, can we all agree that like the Expedition 33 references were heavy? Like the gomage, it was she kind of like
she did gomage a few people.
She gomaged a few people in her trailer, and then so in the thing we actually see it looks like she gomages Cetus the Tiebreaker.
Right.
But basically, who knows? Maybe Cetus saves her body. But at the very least, I think the more important question here is what it represented. And based on Phrolova's attitude, also they did a midnight podcast that they posted.
Yes.
And
that came out today.
Yeah, it had a lot of information in it. And basically, she doesn't want to go back. Like she doesn't want to go back right now. She is at peace with her people. She's chilling. She's still doing research, mind you. And the guy on the pier tells you that. Or actually, no, Rover says it to the guy on the pier. I think his name's Pierre, which is funny. Like, yeah, like, oh, have you seen? She's like, yeah, she's still doing research, basically. And so we know that she's doing research currently, but she's just kind of chilling right now. She wants to be where she is. I honestly think she did this so she could get away from the Praxedis for a bit. Because
honestly, fair.
They can't get in there. The only person who can get in there right now is Rover, which she trusts Rover still. I'm just gonna put this out there. She still trusts Rover. They still have a complicated relationship. It is not black and white at all. So I'm just gonna put that there. But yeah, so there you go.
Okay. So I think the final thing I'm going to ask about 2.5 before we kind of move back is because I saw a few people asking about this. So you know how in the story she's telling us that she needs the Threnodians gem in order to be able to complete the symphony or the piece that she's creating that will allow her to complete the Lost Beyond.
Correct.
And then she loses the gem, obviously, but instead she finds the violin. So do you think that, you know, did she ever need the gem? Was it the violin that she needed all along? And this whole idea that she needed the gem was more, Fraxedis propaganda because they wanted her to get it? Or do you think it would have worked either way?
I think that that's actually Fraxedis propaganda. I think she needed the violin. She wanted the gem.
Right. Okay.
Like, you understand what I mean by that?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, the violin is what she needed. She didn't need
Yes.
the gem. Her obsession wants the gem, emphatically. What she needed was peace.
Yeah.
And the violin gave her peace. I'm gonna say something. This is gonna be, because I know this. You said that was the last question for 2.5, so I have to put this out there.
Yeah, please.
Rover did not. Rover did not. Whatchamacallit? What's the word that everybody's using? Abandon their promise, I guess, essentially. Rover did not break. Here we go. Rover did not break their promise. I just want y'all, like, it didn't happen. By the way, if you all are on YouTube, please like the stream. I gotta be a good YouTuber and say that. Both of our streams. Please like, it helps a lot. As a smaller creator, it helps a lot. I'm just gonna say that YouTube is not the easiest platform on smaller creators. So if you
and if you are enjoying this, you should definitely go and follow Life Lessons and check out his videos, because I just want to say, like, when I started working on this game, his were the videos that I was watching to try and catch up on the lore really, really quick, and they were so helpful. So, like, if you have any lore questions, like, go subscribe, go watch his videos. They are top tier.
Thank you so much. Very grateful. So yeah, Rover didn't break their promise.
Okay.
And we have proof that Rover didn't break their promise.
Right.
The reality of what actually happened is that Phrolova, understandably, hear me when I say understandably, she just got tired of waiting.
Yeah.
And, like, likely, thousands of years potentially passed. We don't have an exact, we know it's been centuries. That's all we know. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a solid 1,000. But regardless, a very long periodically time. Basically, it's just like, it took a long time. That was a joke, by the way. I don't know if you know that meme or not. But those who know the meme know the meme. Yeah, some lady at a bus stop. Those who know the meme know the meme. But basically, a long time. She was waiting for a very long time, and she didn't want to wait any longer. And the notebook right here says it. He never appeared again. I have already found a path of my own. This path is the right one on which I shall complete the symphony of life and death. You hear that? What did Rover promise? Rover said that when you complete your final, like your piece, I'll be there.
They'd be there, and they actually were. That's one thing I thought about. It's like in a weird way, it kind of did come true. Like, the promise was kind of fulfilled, because Rover was, you could argue Rover was there when she fell and found the violin, and, and if nothing else, Rover was able to enter the Lost Beyond, the completed Lost Beyond. So in a weird way, by doing so, Rover does keep the promise.
Yeah, so let me say that too, though, just for clarity. Technically, the promise hasn't been fulfilled yet.
Okay.
But that's because she hasn't finished the piece yet.
Oh, okay. Yes.
But because Rover's now here, right? Because I've seen a lot of people say some things like, we just don't know enough about past Rover to make a lot of statements, and it's true. Because the thing about it is, the final piece, if you go back to the way she discusses it, she says she wants to have everybody's voices be a part of it. This is why at the very end, she says, I'm sorry. To all those phantoms. She says, I'm sorry. Because basically she's saying, like, I'm bringing the Lost Beyond into reality. Like, I'm completing the Lost Beyond, but I haven't completed you all yet.
Right. Okay, I see.
And so, but you know what's really interesting? In a lot of ways, one of the ways that Rover could essentially, it's really weird. I was talking to somebody. Rover could potentially help her finish her research.
Okay.
Because the idea here being, like, ironically, one of the ways that we could see Phrolova come back to the real world is via, whether intentionally or not, Rover actually helping her finish her research. So
yes,
that was just like, because theoretically, if she's like in this state that she's in right now, like, it's a possibility. It's not like it's not 100%, but it's a possibility. So, but the point being that Rover didn't say, I will be there at all your events. Rover said, when you finish, I will be there. That was the promise. That promise wasn't broken because she never did. She just ran out of patience. And this is why she called Rover. She's like, what madness? What madness could have drove you, like, you know, to continue on this path that you're on? She's like, she basically said, you're better than me. She's like, you're better than me because this you have committed far more into your madness than I have. Now, one of the things I will say, because I know some people are going to say, no, Rover was wrong too, though. I would say one of the big places where Rover was wrong, and and this is a cause for debate, which is great. Like, I think just in general with the story, 2.4 started it with the split in the story. They have done such a good job of like provoking conversation.
Yes, 100%.
And I've never seen this much conversation like I said, I've been doing lore since CBT 1 of the game. I've been around for a while, and but it's almost 2 years now. And yeah, it's just like, I've never seen this much excitement about the story. And so
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so with that being said, if you take into like I said, you take into account, like I said, the promises and everything, but where Rover did go wrong is this, in my opinion. When Rover said you never understood the value of human life, I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, okay.
I think that she definitely stopped understanding the value at a certain point, in particular when she joined the Praxis. I think that's when she said, you know what, I'm gonna sacrifice everybody else for my people. But I don't think she never understood it. The entire time when she was trying and failing, I think that was, like I said, I would say that was her, she understood it at that point. But eventually she ended up saying, all right, you know what? And that's when she, you know, just forsook it, I guess you can say. So I don't think she never understood it. And that line definitely perturbed her a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, that's what I would say in particular, just to give her some credit in that. Yeah.
All right, that's like I think a fairly nuanced take on it. You know, that's kind of fair to both parties, and I think that's a good point that I haven't seen a lot of people making about the conditions of the promise actually not having been made at that point.
Yeah. It's like the legal mindset sort of thing about, for those of y'all who don't know, law school is, I don't know if I'm gonna go, but I'm taking the LSAT, and it's something that might happen in the future. We'll see. But at the very least, I think that way is the point that I'm getting at. I have a very kind of like mock trial-esque, moot court-esque way of thinking about things. It's just like, well, let's clarify what was actually promised. Let you know, like, so forth and so on. And
All right. But this is really interesting. I think this is a perspective I haven't seen before. So that was really intriguing. I'm gonna keep thinking on that. Why don't we talk about some questions that are not like 2.5 specific, but are sort of the broader Wuthering Waves Lore, because there were a few questions about that. So I mean, let's wind it right back to the beginning of the game, because I want to know. The first character we see, like this goddess who is awakening Rover.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Who is this? Tell us everything.
Oh my gosh, you want to know everything?
Well, okay. Well, tell us a reasonable amount of information.
Got you. No, yeah, for sure. Because actually, it's interestingly enough, one of the things that I wanted to do with the community is I wanted to do a video where I basically kind of like connect the puzzle pieces for people, because a lot of people, I've seen certain things where they're like, oh, you know, like they're just kind of winging it, and the story isn't like following like a clear, you know, path, like clear logic and progression. And actually, no, it's been pretty consistent throughout. You can say what you might want to say about, like, you know, maybe some of the jargony stuff toward the beginning, sure, and I think they've definitely improved on that. But generally speaking, they knew what they were doing. The story got rewritten close to the beginning of the game, like basically after the first closed beta test. They got a lot of feedback, and so they fixed it, and it was like about 6 to 9 months or something like that. So if they rewrote it, then clearly that means that they wrote something with a start and an end. It was 90% of the story, I think, is what they were saying that they rewrote. But anyway,
wow. Okay.
I want to I'm going to be making a video soon where I'm going to be essentially connecting things for everybody.
Great.
So definitely
great.
look out for that one. But this is what I will tell you. The lady at the beginning. Gosh. So we see her with the Quarter Savante.
Yes.
I don't think that's even skippable right now. I think you had to get to that part with Alto and Encore. And you saw her again there. You saw her again there. And so the question is, just so I'm clear on what the question is, you're basically just asking, like, what's her deal? Who is she?
Yeah, it's more, do we have, like, how much do we know about who she is in the lore so far?
We have
what do we
speculation. We are in speculation territory, but it is a decent speculation. So I'm going to present what most, I guess you could say, like, lore heads have figured out. So Wuthering Waves does these things where they reveal, like, key information, I guess you could say. About, like, a patch before the patch happens. They did it with, what's it called? Black Shores. They did it also with Septimont. It's called Special Record. That's what it's called.
Yes.
And so the Black Shores Special Record had so much information in it, like legitimately a treasure trove of information. And one of the things that they mentioned in that is this idea about, there's like, you literally have to freeze frame and go frame by frame to see it. But there is this Wuthering Waves, like the ancient language basically that they use.
Yeah.
There's something like that. And if you translate it, and we have translated it, and like I said, that'll be in the video as well. You see a couple different things. So what I'm gonna do real quick, just to kind of help you all out, is I'm gonna go to, and you can go there with me actually, we can make this an interactive thing.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Black Shores. We're gonna go to the Black Shores, and you want to go to. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm in the game, and these like 2 arrow drakes are just making my life like the most difficult thing in the world. Okay, good. Y'all, those who saw my perspective know exactly. I was like, okay, can I leave? Can I please leave? Okay, so we're gonna go to the Black Shores.
Sorry, I was literally just yeeted off a cliff by a 2D. That was hilarious. Okay, love that, but I found the fast travel point I was seeking, so I mean, there's that. But okay, so we go to Black Shores.
Tethys Deep and go to the Modulation Hall.
Okay,
yes,
let's
so many
see.
new Ben 10 aliens. That's funny.
I'm curious to see if I can.
Okay,
I'm curious to see if I can.
All right.
I probably can't.
It's fine then.
Sorry, guys.
It's okay. Everybody can go in their own game though. So in the Modulation Hall, just remember that name. Everybody probably knows where that is at this point if you played in Black Shores. In the Modulation Hall, there is a note on one of the desks, and it is called the K626 resolution. All right. So if you read the K626 resolution, it says, upon entering execution phase, toward the end, upon entering execution phase, instances 1 and 2 will be activated to assist in controlling time and space, respectively. All right. So, and I'll just read this part. So it says, yeah, because I remember you saying that you were going to do a story quest live stream for 1.3 at some point too.
Yeah, I've been saving it, so I haven't actually done it.
Totally fine. And once again, you 9 times out of 10, like I guarantee you, like 0.1% of the fan base has actually looked into this. And it's not necessary for the quest either, so it's not even really a spoiler. So basically, Instance 2 developed from our research on the Sonoro theory is particularly optimized for spatial control. No emotions are needed, so forth and so on. So, who is Instance 2? Stitch reference, K66? Yeah, I could see that. That could be a Stitch reference, actually. So, Shorekeeper. If you have Shorekeeper, you can go to her, what is it? Go to her, like, experience thing. It's at the bottom, basically, where like her voice lines and everything are. And
I don't have her because I think she wasn't available when I started playing, but maybe I can look her up anyway. I don't quite know if you can see characters you don't have.
I don't think so. I don't think you can.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you what it says. It's not really like a long thing, but in her character story, it says the Shorekeeper's birth. It tells you about how she was born. And then I think specifically though, is it on here? Yeah, no, her Forte examination report. Now, this is technically something that shows up on Twitter. Somebody can find it there, but not necessary. One of the first lines of her examination report says, the second instance, also known as Shorekeeper.
Right. Oh, so she is the second. Okay.
Meaning there's a first instance.
Yeah.
Now, there is some debate as to who the first instance is. I'm going to get into that in the lore video, but the point
so
I'm
we'll
getting
wait
at,
for that.
yeah, the point I'm getting at is in the Black Shore special record, it mentions this on the same translation, right? On the same translation, it mentions first instance, second instance, and then it says some other things as well. So do you know what the Tethys system is?
Vaguely. So because I haven't actually finished the Black Shores,
Yes.
I'm aware. So the Tethys system is like, how do you explain it? It's like a database, like it's a system, like a
supercomputer.
It holds
AI.
a lot of information. Yeah.
It's basically their attempt. It's the attempt to understand the lament. That's what the purpose of it is. And this, like I said, it gets really deep, and so that's why I'm trying to, like, for the sake of brevity, just saying, because like it does, and like I said, I'm going to get into all that in the videos, but for the sake of brevity, we know she shows up in the Court of Savante, and the Court of Savante. So if you've seen, even if you just look on the YouTube trailers and you've seen the Black Shores, you would know that this place looks similar to an underground, let's say, galaxy. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Similar to an underground galaxy. And so if we were to go, and now you might, so this one is a little bit difficult. Depends on if you've actually unlocked this thing. It's in Huanglong, but there's a spot in Huanglong behind the Court of Savante ruins, where you are with Alto and Encore. There's a teleporter right behind it.
Okay.
So you can see if you have that teleporter open. And basically, if you look at the map, there's like these two square buildings.
Sorry, which map is this?
Huanglong.
Let me find it. Huanglong. Yeah. Where in it?
Court of Savante ruins. Basically where you go with Encore and Alto in the Winding Axe's Mire.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a teleporter there, but then there's another teleporter behind the building. So essentially, like, you have the Court of Savante ruins, right? And you see a teleporter that's right on the big building, right?
Yeah.
If you go up a little bit, there's another teleporter right below the words Waving Battlefield.
Yeah, I haven't unlocked that one.
Okay, well,
I'm still doing my my completion.
So yeah, so if you want to go to the original teleporter and then just walk around, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so basically there's these two square buildings back there, and in those square buildings there is a paper. And so I'm gonna go to the square buildings themselves.
Yeah.
And I'll just kind of read what the paper says, because once again, the paper is there, but you don't necessarily have to read the paper for the purpose of the quest. The way that, like I said, the way that Wuthering Waves does their lore is it's there for those who want it, but it's not like, it doesn't impose upon people. It's not like you have to do it to understand what's going on. So in these square buildings, like I said, there is a paper, and the paper says this. It's called, let me see, is this it? Yeah. So research memo. There is only one place in the entire game. All right. Minecraft buildings, you mean? That's funny. There's only one place in the entire game where this group of people is mentioned. And it's this one sheet of paper.
Right.
The entire game. It's crazy. But this one sheet of paper opens up an entirely different perspective on the game.
Okay.
So I'm going to read the paper. It says, it's not even a long paper. They say the new control subject comes from a distant and mysterious underground galaxy.
Right.
Now this
underground galaxy. Okay.
The Tethys system.
Yeah.
Or specifically not even just the Tethys system, but the Black Shores, the Tethys Deep. Looks like an underground galaxy.
Yeah.
The intricate frequency fluctuations indeed align with the characteristics of the He civilization. It's HE with like a little I don't really know what that symbol is called, but it's like a little apostrophe above the E or whatever. But but basically He civilization.
Right.
Decoding is nearly finalized and provided validation. All that other stuff is like not necessarily not necessarily that important to what I'm talking about, but the last sentence says, I hope that this time I can witness the bridge to another civilization. Now, this piece of paper aligns with what that older gentleman was talking about when he was explaining how, he was explaining what he was explaining, like, they're from our past, but they're also our future, and all that stuff with when the space lady showed up.
Yeah.
Tethys Deep, the Tethys system, we know that Shorekeeper was not created by Rover. If you read her birth story, you learn that, she was not created by Rover. We have to ask ourselves, and there's other papers in the game that explain, where the Tethys system, it was there. It was actually just there. Rover didn't create it. It was already there. But we learned that a group of people, and so I'm going to read Shorekeeper's little thing. We learned a group of people created Shorekeeper to help Rover.
Right.
And so let's see, experience, birth of Shorekeeper. So this will make a lot more sense when you play 1.3, but basically,
yeah, of course.
It says, as the world edged towards its frozen end, and for anybody who's done 1.3, you'll know, as the world edged toward its frozen end, those destined to face the final moment placed their hopes in a certain individual. They blessed him, and mine says him, and I'm pretty sure other people's would say her, because it's talking about Rover. Yeah. They blessed him, wishing he would lead them to a brighter tomorrow. Yet this lonely odyssey required a timeless vessel to complete the reverberations, and the best they could offer was an enduring tool. Thus, the Shorekeeper was born. The Powerpuff Girls were born. So basically, this civilization created Shorekeeper. And there are things in the lore that basically say like the same civilization as the civilization that created the Tethys system. And when you put all those pieces together, it seems like it's the Hess civilization. What does this have to do with the space lady?
Gotcha.
Right? What does this have to do with the space lady?
Yeah.
It is very likely. This is just a theory. Okay. This is very likely that she is also potentially a byproduct of that same civilization.
Right.
Potentially.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm going to go over it in more detail in a video, but she might be instance 1.
Right. That would be really intriguing.
And that's, so that's what I will say. I know it was a little bit of a roundabout way, but it's like these things are connected.
Yeah.
This
is good lore.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now there's more to it. It'll be in a video. Hey, what's up, Tan? How you doing? But that's like the simple stuff. And like I said, in the video, I'm gonna make it very clear, easy, straight to follow, so forth and so on, as I usually do. But yeah.
Okay. We'll all look forward to that one, I think.
So yeah. So there we go.
Okay.
There's Space Lady.
Okay, great. Okay, and since we're hitting you with the big questions, summarize for us, what are the Threnodians?
Threnodians. Okay, so I had a crackpot theory for this. I'm going to tell you what they are, and then I'm going to tell you the crackpot theory.
Great.
Threnodians are, so first of all, we actually learned it, we talked about this yesterday, actually. We learned it at the end of 2.4, where Leviathan basically says, I was created from the, I was born or wrought, I think is the word that Leviathan uses. I was wrought from the, it's basically like the collective negative subconscious of humanity. This is why Imperator was like, as long as civilization, this basically gives you your answer about the Praxidus, right?
Right.
Because the thing is, herein lies the problem that is being, this is the difference between Rover and them. The Praxidus, or rather the Leviathan, Imperator said, if civilization exists, Threnodians exist. They don't even know how they can die. They don't even know the means of its own, I forget the exact words that Imperator, the flowery words that Imperator used, but the means of its own destruction or whatever. Yeah. They do not even know. And so as a result, it's like, this is why the Praxidus are just like, you know what? The lament's not going to go away. If you can't beat them, join them. That's basically the logic that they apply. And so with that being said, they're just like, they don't think it's going to go away. And so Rover, on the other hand, does think it's going to go away, or thinks it's possible to get rid of it. So this is the thing. Can the lament be solved? Can it be fixed? And, you know, Phrolova mentions that to Rover, like, your goal is just as impossible as mine. And so it's just like, that's the idea. Now, the problem with the Fraxidus, right? They're saying, you know, if we fuse humanity with the lament, right? Create a new humanity, kind of like Magneto, then people will be good. Like, since the lament's not going to go away, let's just take the power away from the lament. The problem is, one, the way that they're going about doing it. Two, it's not consensual in the slightest. Like, like this is, they're not saying, hey, you guys, you want to be experiments for this thing? Like, they're just like, no, you're you get my point. Like, and thank you so much to everybody. If you are on YouTube, please like the stream. It helps immensely. As a small content creator, it helps a lot. So thank you so much for being here. I'm very grateful. And as well on Twitch, thank you all so much as well. There's not really a like feature on there, but your comments and everything are much appreciated. But yeah, so basically, like I said, that therein lies the issue, right? This is the dilemma that they're facing. And that's what Rover believes, that there is hope. Fraxidus believe there's no hope, and their actions. Now, honestly, in my opinion, I think the Fraxidus just want to be the new rulers of the world. It's like, they're basically just like, it's like the stock market when things go bad. They're just investing in this new thing. So that way, when the lament happens, when the market crashes, they come out on the, basically like winning. Because now they are the apex predator, I guess you could say. But yeah, so all of that to say, and if you could just repeat the question one more time, because I was getting to something.
So it really just was like, in short, what are the Threnodians?
So basically, like I said, they're this collective. They come from negativity of civilization, collective subconscious. That's what they are. The crackpot theory is, if enough negativity can be created, you could theoretically create a Threnodian.
Right.
Because if you found a civilization where there was no Threnodian, right? Threnodian hasn't hit this place yet. Maybe it's a relatively peaceful place. If you have enough power and resources, you could screw that place up and create one. Create a Threnodian, essentially. So, potential plot point in the future. I don't know. I'm just saying that's my crackpot theory.
I mean, feasibly, you could argue that if that is how they are, created, because we see, do I remember it right that Overthrax is kind of, was created or like emerged from this place where a lot of people died? Well, we don't know exactly how Overthrax came to be per se. We just know that he feeds off of people's. But I mean, like I said, all the Threnodians feed off the same source, really. They have different ways of managing it, which gets into. So I'm just gonna put this out there, y'all. I'm doing a video on Cartethiya as a character. It's going to happen, and I will look forward to that one.
And obviously Leviathan has a very different way of approaching how they manage civilizations, quote unquote manage. And this is why, in that trailer that you did an amazing job in, and that horrified me to no end. When you see Leviathan literally fusing, there's gotta be like a word for that, because it was terrifying.
That's super creepy.
The 2D animation, I was just like, okay, in my reaction to that, I literally jumped, and I was just like, oh, like, I don't do good I'm not a good person when it comes to like creepy stuff or whatever. No. Like, I just don't.
It's unsettling.
I don't like horror movies. I'm not the biggest fan of thrillers. It's just not good for me. And so basically, like, you remember that the Threnodian, basically Leviathan saying, I can, it kind of reminded me of in the Garden of Gethsemane, where the devil tempts Jesus. And it's like, I can give you all these things. Look at all these things I can give you. I can show you. It's like this temptation. And the same thing happens with Cartethiya. Because I mean, we can all see like Cartethiya very much has like Christ-like tendencies with her depiction, and so it was kind of similar where the Threnodians like, you'll be revered by your people. You know what I'm saying? If you do my thing, you can come back into society. Everybody's gonna treat you and reveal you like they did at the beginning of the trailer. And then Cartethiya's like, this is, like, this isn't real. Fleur-de-lis at the time, but this isn't real. Like, this isn't peace. This is a lie. And so yeah, like we see that. And even echoes like technically feed off of different types of negative frequencies. It's not all the same type. So yeah, Threnodians 101 crash course. Bow.
Thank you. No, that's great. So I guess the follow-up to that is, can Threnodians be killed, do you think? Because as long as they still have some kind of vessel, it seems like that just kind of keeps them, alive to some extent. So do you think they can be killed?
No. I mean, Imperator said it pretty well. They can't, as long as civilization, like I said, this is the problem. The way that you fix Threnodians not being around is by removing civilization.
Yeah.
And so obviously nobody wants that. So that's where you, once again, I guess like I kind of answered that in the prior thing. That's where you have the plight of Rover and the Praxidus. We can't get rid of these things. So how do we manage? Like you can trap them, it seems. They can be sealed. Okay, your crypot theory. I think that potentially we're going to get to a place, and New Federation could be that place. What if there's a place where they're actually using, because I believe New Federation worships technology or something. What if there's a place where they're actually like using the Threnodian or potentially even the Sentinel, like as an energy source? Like they've subjugated the Threnodian or something.
That's resourceful. Wouldn't that be something?
And then as a result, maybe the concept for that area is less about Threnodians, but more about like humanity and like the dark side of humanity. And perhaps even, like it's getting really in the weeds, but it's just like this idea of like, it would go back into the idea of like, wow, like I know the Threnodians are bad, but now I'm seeing like the bad side of humanity and why Threnodians are here in the first place. Crackpot theory, but yeah, so
that would be interesting. I mean, we'll come back to this video if that turns out to be true and say you said it first.
Hey, but yeah, so yeah, you can seal them, but you can't kill them as of right now. That's not a thing.
Gotcha. Okay, so the next question that people had, and I actually want to understand this better myself, is we've seen the Somnoires like being introduced gradually. What are they? What are they?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest. It's unfortunate for some people. I think at 1.4 they tried to, to clarify some of this stuff. And I'm just try. They did do a decent job of kind of clarifying it, but we haven't had the elusive realm in a while, which was a game mode that happened before 2.0. It has not come back, and it dealt deeply with that. However, we do have we have Dreaming Deep, we have the 1,000 Gateways, and it's been referenced multiple times. Obviously, that's why people are asking this question. So, to put it simply, and this is actually, I mentioned this earlier about what the Tethys system is, right? It is their attempt to understand the lament. That's basically its purpose. It's to understand the lament, to hopefully guide humanity to a path of understanding and hopefully overstanding and overcoming. The Somnoir is actually just a different type of Tethys system, not in the same vein that it's like a superpowered AI or anything like that, but in the sense of, oh, by the way, this is S6 Zani for anybody who's wondering why your Zani doesn't hit like this. Yeah, just so we're clear. Y'all are probably like, wait, why does my Zani do that? But yeah, so basically, that is what it's basically another attempt to understand using dreams, to understand the lament using dreams. Is essentially what it does. It's kind of like simulating things in a way, and hoping that they can find some answers there. There's a lot more to the Somnoir. I'm going to be doing a video at some point soon, before 2.5 ends, on the Dreaming Deep event, because we got a lot of very crazy lore in there that actually has to do with Phrolova. But yeah, like I said, it's a lot, but it's really interesting. Yeah. And so, yeah, so that is what I can tell you about the Somnoir. It's an attempt in a similar vein as the Tethys system. Similar goal, different means to understand the lament.
That makes sense. Do we know in the lore who made the Somnoires? Like, do we know who?
Sort of.
Okay.
Well,
maybe we'll have to watch the video.
Well, I mean, I can answer it. It's very like a one answer question. All we know is they're a companion of Rover.
Okay.
We don't know who it is. We just know that it was a companion of Rover's.
Right.
So Tether System seeking logical solutions, Somnoires seeking creative solutions. Yeah, I like that that way of going about it. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they're a companion of Rover's. That's what we know.
Okay. Okay. So I guess that's another thing that we'll probably see more of in bits of the story to come.
Yeah, like
hopefully
future,
that will be
learn more
unpacked
about the
for us.
past. Ancient companion,
Yeah.
I think is the best word to use. It's not somebody, likely a very ancient companion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, it just gives us more to, I suppose, unravel. I'm quite happy with how the story is being kind of, slowly unpacked.
Yeah.
I think that's really nice because it adds to that mystery, and even the patch that we just had, that we're in 2.5, it's really interesting to see how that has recontextualized things that we've done in the game. A lot of the 1.x events and even some of the Renacita stuff. There's that bit fairly late in 2.5, the story patch, where you enter these doors before you see the concert, and you see these like little moments that we've experienced in the past, but with new or more context. And I thought that was really interesting, being like, oh, okay, we've seen these events before, but now it's implied that maybe a lot of those events that Rover went through were kind of orchestrated.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
that's really interesting. Yeah.
I think the one cool thing too is just for everybody, because I know everybody wants to see more Scar. I know everybody wants to see more Jinjo characters, and I mean they basically told us like something's underneath Jinjo.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't know what it is. I have some theories, but we are definitely going back.
All right. Okay. I'm intrigued. So, I think I have a few more questions if you have time.
Of course, no shot.
Because we gotta give the people the answers, right?
Hey, look, that's what we're here for.
This is one that's near and dear to me. If we look at patch 2.2, Cantarella sacrifice. Like, can you just talk us through a summary of what is it actually that Cantarella did?
So she became the goat.
Yeah, but
You became like one of the best written characters in the entire game.
I agree.
Seriously, like my gosh, like such a compelling character. Legitimately. So basically, Cantarella, and this was, explained in two parts. The first part being in the castle or the mansion, whatever you call it, the Facilia, mansion, castle, thingamabob. It was explained there. Then the second aspect of it was explained right before when she gave Cartethiya that sword that enabled her to, fight alongside Rover. And then commit self-aside, I guess. I don't know what the word is. Yeah. So essentially, Cantarella, this is an interesting thing, like timeline writers, right? And I've had some debates with some people on this, but this is my perspective on it.
Stay calm.
So Cartethiya goes for her little coronation thing. Well, I won't say little, but coronation. Majestic, huge coronation. The best coronation ever. No coronation has ever matched it. So basically she does that, and then Leviathan says, this is my time. We out here. When that happens, calamity ensues. People, unfortunately, do not survive. And Cantarella was there at the time. She's able to escape. And, being the, wise person that she is, yes, I know I messed this rotation up, y'all. Don't at me. My bad. I know the rotation. I just messed it up just now. But, so basically, she being the wise person that she is, she immediately goes back to the castle to try to fix things. This does not seem like it happened too far apart from each other. I'd say at most a couple hours, at least a couple hours, at most a day or so. And so basically, when she does that, she goes to her castle. She resonates with Turvan, which is the sword that the Primus gave her. Or her family, the Primus Napoleon II gave her that. We actually see that in 2.5. We get some in those notes that I told you all about that are on Fenrico's desk. There's a couple of them, and it mentions that as well. It talks about when he got the lamp, and then toward the end of his life, when he wrapped up sword. And actually, in the Nimbus Sanctum, there in 2.0, do you remember that moment where we were in the gondola in the Nimbus Sanctum and you could hear like phantoms from the past talking?
Yes.
So there were acolytes who were talking, and they were talking about. There was this one acolyte who was talking about like a sword. Like, I have to, and this is during the first Dark Tide. He was like, I have to get this sword back, even if it costs me my life. That sword was Turvin.
Right. Okay. Yes, that makes sense.
The sword was Turvin, or at least one of the swords, but I feel like it probably was Turvin. But at the very least, we know it was one of those three swords. And so basically, that's what that was. And so she goes to resonate with Turvin, you know, to see like, okay, you know, I need to give this thing a shot. And she ends up, unlike the other maidens, she actually succeeds. So when she succeeds, she ends up seeing through the eyes of the Sentinel. She sees Cartethiya fighting, and she's like, yeah, I want to give her a chance. Like, because the thing is, the plan that Cantarella was essentially going to execute was becoming the second Resonance Awakening, getting second Resonance Awakening, become the Sentinel's Resonator, and then breaking the law that Imperator discussed.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you. I'm on spoiler on Cantarella's story. Yeah, so breaking the law that that Imperator says, good on you all. Good on you all. The law being that, you know, no being such as like a Sentinel or a Threnodian can resonate with two different people. Like, you have to pick one, and that was the information that the Sentinel kept from Threnodian to basically mess the Threnodian up in the long term. That was the long game, the contingency plan. And so Imperator is like, all right, time for the contingency plan. Let's do it. And Cantarella is like, oh, we did this already. All right, Cantarella is basically just like, yeah, you know what? I see Cartethiya fighting. I want to give her a chance. Because otherwise, you know, Cartethiya, Fleur-de-Lis, Imperator, and the Threnodian would have all just been unraveled and destroyed and all that stuff. So they would have basically put Leviathan in a probably a similar situation to Overthrax, where like it needed to be revived. And so basically she decides to give up similar to like what we saw with Jinshi in 1.1, where she had the second Resonance Awakening. She gives it up to Cartethiya. That's what she does. This is why in the beginning she said the Blessed Maiden is dead, because she was actually the real Blessed Maiden. Yeah. But in the moment that she became the Blessed Maiden, she immediately gave her power that she had accrued to Cartethiya, and then in that moment, the Sentinel had the power to resist the Threnodian long enough. And Cartethiya had the opportunity, and this is like a thing within the community, like, oh, like, you know, there's this idea of like, this is a different question, and I won't necessarily answer it right now, but what's Cartethiya's like true form, right? Is she big, or is big one or small one? Answer, small one. Just that's the short answer. The small one is actually her true form. The big one is a transformation. She would not have looked differently. Like if she was not like in the situation that she was in, she would have still looked the same way, because the reality is she transformed 20 years ago. Yeah. It wasn't like if you had waited 20 years ago, you would have been big Fleur-de-Lis who's 7 foot tall. No, it's a transformation, just like when Jinshi used her forte and she gets the dragon horns, Cartethiya does her thing and gets the I guess the Leviathan horn. So that's kind of what that is. But like I said, she gives it up to Cartethiya. After giving it up to Cartethiya, Cartethiya has the opportunity, as we see, to basically rend Leviathan from the hybrid body, because now it has the power to split, right? So it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen Dragon Ball Z, but a little bit. You know the big scene where like in the original Dragon Ball, actually, where Goku holds up Raditz and is like, all right, hit me to Piccolo, and he does special beam cannon and shoots through both of them. Yeah. That's basically what happened. Imperator basically took on the person of Goku to basically like, all right, I got him where we want him. Like, I got Threnodian where we want him. And said, all right, hit me. And so Cartethiya then to merge with Cartethiya, or Fleur-de-Lis. And, before the Leviathan gets the opportunity to do so, that's when Cartethiya, basically splits herself in two.
Yeah.
So that it can't control all of her.
Right, yes.
So like I said, the nature of her sacrifice is that she basically had the second Resonance Awakening that Jinshi had, but she sacrificed it so that Cartethiya and Fleur-de-Lis could affect, and the Sentinel could effectively fight. Like, she saved.
Yeah.
It's a team effort.
Yeah.
She really saved everybody. Like,
she did. She is the MVP. I mean,
really
I think
did.
it has to be said.
So shout out to her. Very selfless character. Voice actor as
Cantarella.
well. Her voice actor was impeccable.
Alex Gelf.
Alex Gelf. Hey, if you ever want to talk, Alex, let me know. I'd love to have a chat. But
we love Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. So like that is the nature of what she did. And then I guess the last part being that during the second part, when she gives the sword, because some people might be a little confused on that aspect, like what happened there?
Yeah.
She told us that everybody got tiny glimpses. This is what she told us in the castle or the mansion. Everyone got tiny glimpses of the when they tried to resonate with Turvin, they got tiny glimpses of like the Sentinel, but they were never able to truly awaken. But the small glimpses that they got, and like I said, this is told to us in 2.2. Those small instances that they got still were like sent, I guess you could say, into the general vicinity of the Avenolium. And so Cantarella, when we're doing our own thing, it's Rover and Cartethiya, and then Cantarella's out doing her own thing. She was basically going around and getting all of those frequencies and store like those small traces and storing them in Turvin, which is actually what ended up helping Rover in that fight as well. But so basically that's kind of what happened there. That's what she gave Cartethiya. She gave her the sacrifice, the collective sacrifice of the Phasalia family. Yeah. Over centuries of being viewed as the bad guys. And this is why, like, shout out to Imperator's voice actor. I don't know if we know who Imperator's voice actor is. That might be.
I actually don't know.
Yeah, I think that's intentionally kept from us.
Yeah, but they're amazing.
Like, I've heard the sadness and the relief in Imperator's voice when they're basically like, tell the Phasalias that your job is done. Like I forgot the words that Imperator used specifically, but like, this heavy weight, you are freed from this heavy weight that, like, I'll get a little emotional now because I remember so vividly how y'all kill it, man. Like, the voice actors bring so much life to the characters, man. It's, oh my gosh, I'm doing such a great job.
Honestly, I think the like Imperator's voice actor, whoever you are, I hope we find out. Yeah, they're really great. Like, they're very, very emotive. Like, I think we all collectively felt it when at the end of 2.2, Imperator asks, like, was I a good horse?
Oh, no.
That was a real, like, an everyone cried moment. But yeah. No,
like, legit. Yeah. Like, that's real. Like, sorry. You see, you're getting me. Like, it was so. Like, did I do good? Like, are you proud of me? Are you proud of me, Papa? Because, like, that's the thing. Like, the Threnodian, I mean, the Sentinel and Rover. Like, people ask, like, what is their relationship? And I know this isn't a question asked, but Rover did not create the Sentinels. Rover, if anybody's familiar with, like, Naruto, basically, and even if you're not, but if you are, Rover is basically like the Sage of Six Paths, where he was given the charge over the Threnodians, but not necessarily created the Threnodians.
Gotcha.
There's, like I said, there's some lore behind that too, but like I said, I'll leave it at that for now. But yeah, so yeah, great horse. Great, the
best horse, actually.
Best horse. Take that,
okay,
Roach.
So
People who know what I'm talking about from The Witcher.
Witcher 3.
Yeah.
So this is like maybe a less heavy or like, profound question, but I think it's a really interesting one anyway. So you know how like in Wuthering Waves, the characters have like classes, like they can be Spectro or Glacio.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a good question about, does that, so obviously, some of them like Glacio, we know that correlates to ice, but do you think that classification, does that have to do with the forms of energy that the characters are using, that the resonators are using for their attacks, rather than necessarily signifying a relation to an element? Does that make sense? Did I phrase that in a way that makes sense?
Okay, so does it have more to do with the way that they attack than the element?
Yeah, so I think it's more like, does it have to do with, so like, let's say Carlotta, she's technically Glacio, right? So is that about that her attack, like the energy form of the attack is Glacio, rather than her necessarily representing ice?
Okay, so this sounds like more like a, is it based on their
It's a technical
personality? Or
I think I'm sorry. So whoever asked the question, I'm sorry if I'm like misrepresenting it, and feel free to like add more context in the chat if I'm explaining it badly. But I think it's like, do the characters represent elements, or is it rather a system for, what? Sorry, I'm totally
no, you're fine. So I can answer this way, right?
Yeah.
Just to give some people some context. So back in the closed beta test 1. Now, closed beta test is not canon, or CBT1 is not canon. But yeah, that's what I figured, BitX. So basically, in the game of Wuthering Waves, there are no elements.
Yeah.
Elements are not a thing. What we have are attributes. And attributes were given actually a different name, and I think it was intentional, because it might have given it away. And I think in the future, they might go deeper into this, because Rover gives us a little bit of information even about resonance abilities in 2.5, which, when you think about Phrolova's case, is just, like I said, with the whole, did the Praxedis do it? And like Rover basically says that like resonance abilities are tied to emotions.
Right.
And if that's the case, if you can manipulate someone's emotions, could you potentially manipulate how strong or how their abilities manifest? Yeah, like I said, grand architect. Anyway, so with that being said, they're attributes. So we have things like glacio. Glacio is an attribute, which is what an attribute is. It's not an element. It's more so like a physical, kind of like a reaction or like a concept, right? My scientists in the chat, y'all can probably answer this better than I can, but we should discuss that sometime. Got you, Ursine. Sounds like a plan. But yeah, like my scientists in the chat can definitely help with this. But an attribute is more like a scientific, kind of like a phenomenon, essentially.
Right.
And so glacio, right? Glacio is effectively kind of like condensation.
Right.
The ability to cool something, right? In the case of Carlotta. Whereas fusion is like the ability to apply heat or ignite.
Yes.
Aero is like manipulating airflow. Electro is to displace charges. And there's a thing that's been floating around that talks about this in the lore community as well. But Spectro is diffraction, the ability to like bind photons. So, like you see with Phoebe, right? Where she's like bouncing light off of like crystals, basically. And there's kind of like a rainbow-esque view of to her attacks. And like, with the light kind of shimmering off. So it's kind of like that. Havoc is annihilation of matter. So it's like antimatter in a way. And so so I think I just named all of them: fusion, glacio, aero, electro, spectro, havoc. Yep. So they are attributes, not elements. They are physical, scientific phenomenons, and so that's how I understand that.
I think that pretty much was perfectly what the person was asking, and I just phrased that really badly. No, but that seems exactly like, I think that's 100% what the question was about. And that was a really good answer, actually. So thank you. The more I learned today, that was really good. Okay, so here's a funny one, just to be silly.
Funny.
Do you think there is a lore explanation in the game for why Pizza Tropicale is controversial in Raguna?
Ah, man. Okay. All right. I got you. All right, I got y'all. I got y'all.
Okay, okay.
So I have been training my entire. We're in the 7th month, right? 7th month going to 8 months.
Yeah.
So my entire 7 months of Renacita exposure for this question. Okay.
Okay, okay.
We learned from the beginning, before we even step foot on this rock they call Renacita. There's this thing. Some of you all may have done it, some of you may have not. But before you come to Renacita, you talk to Alto. Shout out to James Day. James Day, once again. We gotta talk, man. We gotta talk. I love your character. I've spoken to James Day like briefly on Twitter. Maybe we can have a conversation sometime. But basically, when you talk to Alto, first of all, there's a hilarious exchange between Alto and the little robot. Alto's basically like messing with the robot. The robot's like, no, get me out of here. And he's teasing him, teasing it. But basically, there's a note that if you read it, you can only read it once, I think, but it's right behind Alto. And it basically explains, it's like a little bit of information before you get to Renacita. And one of the things it talks about is do not ask for Pizza Tropicale. Just don't do it, right?
Just don't do it.
And so what's interesting about that is, and I actually just missed it, so let me move the time. When you get to Renacita, there's an NPC outside of, hopefully this is the right one. Even if it's not though. I think it's, Alexander and Leon. Let me see. So these NPCs, the ones I'm looking at right now, exactly, Ursine. So Alexander says, and you can actually go here too. If you go to Margaritas, 6 in the morning, just for the sake of continuity.
Okay. Let's do it. We go to Renacita.
These are the real hard-hitting questions, y'all. I had to study. I had to get under the book. You know what I'm saying? The burning the midnight oil.
All right. Okay, so we go to Margaritas at what time did you say?
6 in the morning.
6 in the morning. Okay, gotta.
And I just want to say this. I think Pizza Tropicale is actually good. Specifically, if you put chicken on it. It's called Hawaiian pizza, is what I was told. It's like barbecue chicken with pineapples on pizza. It is delicious. Do not knock it before you try it. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, I think it's over here, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. So you see Alexander and I think Leon or Leon.
Yeah.
So let's talk to them. Is your luggage all set up in your room as your guide? Let me share some important travel tips for Ragusa. So Alexander is talking to Leon. I'll just say that's her name. All right. Yeah. Is this going to be? Hey, you want to voice act actually?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll do Alexander. Okay. You do Leon. I'm gonna do a very broken way of having this conversation. So I'm going to. Where are you right now? Are you on Alexander's part?
I'm on Leon's part.
Okay. You know what? We'll just go from there.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. All right. Is this going to be about the Order and the Sentinel again?
Oh gosh, it's so good. Oh man, I'm not gonna be okay. I won't cover that topic since you should already know it. This time, I'll focus on dining customs. Don't add ice to your espresso. Don't use scissors to cut your pasta at the table. And definitely don't order cappuccino at dinner.
Okay.
And for Sentinel's sake, don't just eat the center of the pizza and leave the precious crust. The last person who did that ended up on the pilgrim sale.
Based. I would never do that. Besides, is the consequence really that severe?
There's a dish at Trattoria on the first floor of the hotel called Pizza Tropicale. Just remember, it's called pizza, but it's definitely not one.
It's the red text. It's the red text for me.
I know. Once you leave that Trattoria, especially knowing this is a place that's based on Catholicism and Christianity, red text is those are Jesus's words, meaning you do not this is as sacred as religion to them. Once you leave that Trattoria, don't mention it to any local. Even if someone asks, don't answer.
Now you're making me scared.
So
Wow. Okay, that is top tier conversation. I did not know this was in the game, but there you have it, guys. There is a lore explanation. Like the question is answered. Like
and so one little thing here too. There's another conversation right across where you have these two guys talking about, and the one guy's basically saying like, "Oh yeah, I can't hang out today because I need to, eat with my mom." Right?
Yeah.
And they're basically saying, like, "Oh man, you can't hang out." He's like, "Hey, look, man, it's family. Like, if I don't, she'll break my legs with a spatula and stuff my head into a bowl of spaghetti." Her words, not mine. No matter what I'm up to, I have to be home for dinner every weekend. And he's like, "By the sense of Gustavo, Montelli scared of his mommy? How interesting." Hey, watch it. I'm not scared of her. I'm respecting her. Family comes first, always, no matter what. So look, if somebody were to order Pizza Tropicale, they have a very, very family-centered, social order, I guess you could say. Like, it's an ingrained part of their culture. If somebody were to eat Pizza Tropicale, you're not going to be a part of that family too much longer. You might get excommunicated. It's just best you don't, So there's your lore reason. Yeah. It's just best that you don't.
Don't do it, guys. When in Renacita, like, Raguna, I guess, just don't.
Apparently, there's an NPC in Septimont who mocks their pizza because it's not authentic. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I think I've seen that. It's like, Pizza Tropicale, get your specialty. It's great.
That's so great.
Okay, so I know we've been going for a while, so like to wrap it up.
Yes.
Do you think there is a canon Rover, like, in this game?
Yes. The canon Rover is whoever you pick.
Great. I love that answer.
Yeah, like the reality is the developers have done a really good job of, I'd say, stamping that potential issue out from the get-go. So why does Zani like Hawaiian so much? Because she doesn't abide by the order. That's all I can say.
She's a rebel.
She is a rebel. Respect. But basically, yeah, like that seems to be they in the cutscenes you see Rover and female Rover, male Rover and female Rover constantly being switched in and out in very creative ways, might I add. Like I remember when Renacita was first being shown, you see Rover walk up and then walks into the city, and then somebody walks past Rover, and then now you see female Rover. Like you see male Rover first, then somebody walks past, and then female Rover shows up. When you see the it was like this intro teaser trailer where like Rover's getting off the gondola. It's like nighttime, and you see Rover walk up, I think it was male Rover walk up, and then they take off the mask, and then female Rover shows up. Like they just do a really good job at it. Is my point. The two Rovers in Shorekeeper's eyes and her point of view and her PV. So yeah, it's there's no real. Yeah, there you go.
I agree. I think there's only your Rover.
Yep.
Whoever you are, however you're playing, there is your Rover, and
unless you have two
your
accounts.
Rovers. Yeah, sure, but there is your Rover. Maybe there are your Rovers.
Hey,
but,
I like that.
But at the end of the day, I think Rover is what each player makes them. Like whether it's gender, whether it's the nature of the relationships they have with the different characters. I think that's why we can have these debates about was Rover right, was Phrolova right. We can have all these exciting debates because everyone is going to view and interpret their Rover slightly differently and their Rover's relationships in the world differently. And I think that's why, there is no clear-cut answer. There is no canon anything because there's only your choices in your interpretation. And I think that's really exciting.
Yeah, it's your game.
And the fact,
you play it the way you want to.
A really good point was made in my chat that you can change Rover's appearance at any time.
Yeah, that's another thing too. You can 100% do that.
Yeah. And I mean, shout out to Chase Brown and Jane Jackson for making both Rovers so compelling that it's really, really hard to pick between them.
Yeah, this is just for me personally. One of my favorite things. Oh well, she has the wrong weapon. One of my things about female Rover that I appreciate, and this, like I said, you all have your reasons. This is my reason. I just think she's very pretty. I think she is very. It has to be said. It's insanely pretty. And then from my perspective, for male Rover, I just really like the depth of male Rover's voice. He's got a very deep voice, which I have a pretty deep voice. And so
I get it.
I just like that aspect of both of them, like these different things. And so yeah, and also even
they're both just really cool.
They do different animations too sometimes. Like the way that their facial expressions, there's like it's not so much like it's like game changing, but it's like cool to see that they do have slight differences in their personality, or not so much personality, it might not be the right word, but it's just like how they, you know, I guess you could say contort their face or whatever. And so it's kind of cool to see those like little details as well. So yeah, it's just they both maximize who they are.
Yeah. And I mean, I think undeniably they are both incredibly charismatic. Like whichever Rover you're playing, like we understand why people gravitate towards them, you know?
Yeah. And that's regardless of whether you play in English or Japanese or Chinese or what have you. Like
obviously this goes for every language version, I am sure. You know, there is just something about the Rover that does draw people in, and I'm very excited to see if that gets explored more, you know, like who is Rover in the relation to this world? That's a whole nother question for another time. You know, I'm excited to see, you know, as we learn more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think these were the questions that I received. I'm really sorry. Like, guys, if I missed any questions, don't worry. We may do this again. And if not, you know, feel free to comment your questions, or, you know, go to Life's channel and, you know, start hitting him with the questions, give him some inspiration for new content, new videos we want to see.
Yeah.
But it sounds like there's quite a few in the, you know, in planning.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And like I said, maybe I might have answered the question already. In one of my previous lore videos.
Exactly. So if you've got a burning question, like, do go and check out his entire channel, because there is so much there to mine, and then subscribe so you can get all the new updates on lore videos.
You're more than welcome if you see fit.
I had one final question from my chat I see here, which is we're going back to 2.4 now. How did Phrolova invade Rover's dream? Was that to do with the Somnoires, do you think?
You know, that's interesting. That's actually a really good question. And it's interesting that you all say, does it have something to do with the Somnoir? I cannot say right now 100%, but it is very likely. And if you go to the Lost Beyond, this is really interesting. I actually saw this yesterday.
Okay. Let me get that. All right,
absolutely.
So we go back.
This might blow some people's minds, honestly.
Okay. This seems like a good one to end on.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
You're right, actually. That is good.
Where is it? So, which was the map? I'm trying to find the right one.
Yeah, go to the last one where Fenrico is, and then just go down.
I found it. The Anima Cradle. Right. So we go into the Lost Beyond.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, guide us. Where do we go?
So I want you to go toward the pier. Basically you'll show up in like the little town square. You keep going basically where we start the when we get to the Lost Beyond, when we're first Rover. You go to the pier, and you can go to the pier, you can just kind of go in the general vicinity, it doesn't really matter. But the point is, if you look out to the left, there's like a little island. It has like some trees out there.
I think I've gone as far as I can. There's kind of like a
you can't go to the island. You just see it over the cliff. You see that little island with the trees and like some frames, some picture frames and stuff. So for those of you all who do your 1,000 gateways, who have done the elusive realm in the past, this scene will probably look a little bit you know what, I have to say this too. I'll say this after it. I'll say that for after. But it looks very similar to the Somnoire.
Yes. Okay.
It looks very similar to the Somnoire. The pink trees, like basically the Lost Beyond. And actually, if you read the description for the Dreaming Deep, it's very similar to Elusive Realm. Exactly. Very similar to Elusive Realm. The description for the event Phantasma Dreamland, it says, a strange gate to the Somnoire appears, beyond which a forsaken dreamland lies. As Phrolova stumbles into this realm, she finds a host of peculiar echoes that have gathered here, serving as a staff of the Lost Wonderland. The conductor chooses to linger to help restore its former glory and silently awaiting the unfolding of this dream. So it seems like there might be some similarities between the Somnoires and the Lost Beyond. Perhaps the Lost Beyond is a kind of a sonorosphere that exists adjacent to the Somnoir.
Right.
Yeah, I think, it's, with the Somnoir being all about dreams and everything, there definitely is some things we can point to in terms of that theory, is what I will say.
Okay. I think that's a cool place to end today's little stream. But this was really fun. I mean, I would be down to do more lore questions. A chill stream with more lore questions another time. So guys, let us know if you have more questions, if you'd like us to do this again, and we'll see what we can do.
Hi, my name is Eagle. I'm a voice actor in the game. Oh, nice. Pleasure to meet you, Eagle. Thank you. And I would just say I have to put this out here because this is how I felt at the end of the quest, or the beginning of the quest. Abby's the GOAT.
Abby.
I have to
we love Abby.
I love I don't want to say it's unhealthy, but the level of sheer glee that comes across me when Abby is on the screen, I want more Abby. I'm just putting it out there. I want Abby to be more. And like I said, I understand the reasons why Abby wasn't in certain other parts of the story. But I'm hoping that, as we learn more about Abby, and we actually have learned quite a bit about Abby, that we will see more of Abby, because I think Abby's just such a great companion.
They are. I mean, I love how they always seem to, fall asleep or I'll just retreat for a bit, and then they come out being like, huh? What happened? And then they kind of summarize, a few things for us, in case we missed them. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I also just like Abby had saved Rover's life a bunch of times now.
Oh yeah.
A bunch of times. Abby is legitimately such a cool character. And they're not just there for the sake of just being there. They're ready to scrap whenever need be. When Abby saw Jway, Abby was like, hey, is this big hunk of monster messing with you? Or I was like, hey, yo, Abby, pop off. Yeah. So
Abby's fierce. We love Abby.
Yeah, I just have to give Abby the credit that is due, because I really like what they did with Abby. But
absolutely, shout out to Pienya, great voice actor.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think we're good. Like I said, if you all have any more questions, obviously you can find me at Life Lessons Gaming. That's on YouTube, on Twitch, at @NoChrist_NoLife or at @NoChrist_NoLife. It's something like that on Twitter. You can see it in my description. It's still technically Life Lessons Gaming at the top, but the @ is that. But yeah, like I said, I do story lore videos. It's not just for Wuthering Waves. We have some Expedition 33 stuff in the works as well. But yeah, like I said, I like to talk about stories, the philosophical stuff and all that. And it's been a pleasure. I stream pretty regularly, and yeah, you guys are more than welcome to be a part of I'd say the shared community. I would say the Wuthering Waves community. And like I said, and thank you, Amanda, just for, like I said, just being awesome, being such, the way that you gravitated toward the community in such a positive way, which is something we need a lot more of. It can't be understated, and you really do a great bit of good just by being yourself. And so, and I definitely appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, everyone, guys, for joining us today. This was kind of like a little fun experiment, but I think that was actually really, really lovely. And yeah, this is, as you said, this is the kind of stuff I think the community needs more
Absolutely.
of, just a good old time where we're sharing ideas and theories. A lot of this we don't necessarily know yet. I think you're quite on the money. I feel like everything you said today, that seems very well thought out. So I would buy your theories for sure. But yeah, this is the fun, guys. This is the wholesome stuff. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Had a great time.
Thank you all. Hope to see you all again in the future. And yeah, like I said, we'll definitely have have another time where we chat. And yeah, so cool.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I'll let you go. Yeah.
Take care, everyone.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So yeah, let me just make sure end the
Yeah,
call.
I stopped.
Yeah, I'm just gonna end the call on Discord now then. And so yeah, like I said, because everybody can still kind of hear the conversation we're having on Discord because that's how we're doing it. So I will be in touch, Amanda. And yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, peace.
All right, bye.
All right, there we go. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And Lady Cartethiya, thank you so much for the sub, the tier 1 sub. Oh, gifted actually. Thank you, Genesis Nexus, for gifting Lady Cartethiya. Here you go, live. Thank you for an amazing stream. Yeah, like I said, wait. Oh, you gifted. Okay, there we go. Thank you. I was confused for a second. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, like I said, to kind of to wrap things up, I guess I would say, with that, give me one moment. I need to switch over so I can kind of hear. So what were you all's thoughts? What were you all's thoughts? I know there was a lot being said, and I know, like, you know, when we have these streams, it's very difficult to you know, talk with her, but then also I was trying to look at your comments as well. But yeah, so how are y'all feeling about the conversation? Are there anything, you know, any things that were on your mind throughout that process? Please tell the way the song is making me cry. Got you. Have you listened to the Midnight Podcast? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I'm probably gonna need to listen to it again just for clarity. But yeah, and this is what I said. Like, it seems like she does not want to leave. She doesn't want to get back with the practice anytime soon. My thoughts is that I still didn't play the story. Subject. Oh my gosh, bro. Oh my gosh. You need to do that. Look forward to more. I enjoyed it vastly. Awesome. I'm happy you guys. We have more in the works, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know right now, we have more in the works. I can't say what's happening, but just trust and believe. We're not slowing down. There's gonna be more videos. There's gonna be some more collaborations coming soon. So yeah, I'd like more voice acting exchanges between you both as well. A genuine thrill. Yeah, I'm gonna say, I wonder if somebody could clip that or something, because that was a pretty fun experience. Thank you for the stream. I love your theory crap. Thank you so much. And thank you, Ally. Thank you, Ally, or Ally? Is it Ally or Ally? Thank you for correcting me on that, because yeah, the mutant resonator thing, that was solid. I'm getting delayed because the live translation PGR has been a pain to translate 3 patches a month. Sheesh. Yeah. Act like he owns the world. Wait. Teleport. Oh yeah. Let me leave. I'll leave to help you guys out with the music. But yeah, so everybody, look, we're gonna stop here. I know we said we would do Dreaming Deep today. I know, but I got a lot of work to do. So tomorrow we will do Dreaming Deep. That's what we're gonna do. Dreaming Deep tomorrow. She's at peace for her mom, so don't blame her. Yeah, exactly. She's at peace. And like I said, I think we can, Allie. Okay, got you, Allie. Got it. Madge. I know. I gotta get to work on these videos. So, look, we're gonna do Dreaming Deep tomorrow, 12 p.m. 12 p.m. EST. That's when we're gonna be streaming. We're gonna do some Dreaming Deep stuff. We have some theory stuff. And yeah, and obviously, like I said, once we can get that stuff done, we're gonna be getting back into Expedition 33. We're in Act 2 right now. I did a video, as some of y'all may know, on the prologue to Expedition 33. And so I'm gonna be doing some videos, obviously, on the ones in the future. Yeah, hi live chat. Thanks for the lovely stream, and for those who popped over to Amanda's chat to say hello. Y'all are lovely. Oh, thank you very much. We try. I mean, yeah, like I'm very happy with the community that we built so far. And, you know, hopefully we can be a driving force for positivity in the community. That's the goal. It was a fire conversation. ICL need more content like this. What is ICL? I know it's like an acronym or something, but I can't lie. Okay, I can't lie. There it is. That's probably what it is. Yeah, I mean, like that's what I'm trying to do, y'all. That's what I'm trying to do. Slowly but surely, we're gonna make a positive impact in the community for the better. Expedition 33, we're trying to dig dinosaur bones now. Yeah, something like that. Her podcast gave me the max copium. She'll come back. Oh, I do believe she'll come back. I believe that she's gonna come back for certain. The question isn't if, but when. That's the thing. It's not an if, but a when she comes back. So yeah. But like I said, If you are new, I really would appreciate the sub. Like I said, I am very much a small channel still, but we're growing. And yeah, we're making our mark in the world, you know. Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. All right, I'll stop. But yeah, I appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, you can like the stream. And like I said, because I just have to, I don't normally do that. I don't normally say like the stream because I just, you know, I'm just kind of doing my thing. We're talking, we're engaging, we're chatting, but I have to be a good content creator as well. And as that, I have to say that because otherwise, you know, there's so many times where I hear people say like, oh my gosh, I just finally found you. The YouTube algorithm finally sent me to you. And had I known that you were here, I would have been here sooner. And it's just like, so I have to do my due diligence, right? In that regard. So yeah, so that's the thing. But like I said, we're going to go. Thank you all so much. It's been a pleasure. Shout out to Amanda for making this opportunity possible. And yeah, I will see you all in the next one. Be here tomorrow, 10K soon. Amen. Hey, as we like to hear. Now that I think about it, when Expedition 33, we'll do Expedition 33 when I finish Dreaming Deep, Deep Sea Survey. Yeah, Dreaming Deep and Deep Sea Survey. When I finish those two, obviously I still have to make videos and stuff like that. But once I finish the Dreaming Deep and that, so I'd say, considering the time, we might end up getting back to the Expedition later this week, or at the very least, the beginning of next week. That's what I would say. Yeah. Thank you for the stream. Absolutely. Glad to be of service. So this manner pro will never come back. Sub to this manner for Phrolova will never come back. Real. Have a lovely night / day, everyone. Absolutely. All right. Use Havoc Rover instead of Don Jin for fast runs. Yeah, Aeon. I know. I just wanted to play as Don Jin because like I built her and I didn't use her as much since like CBT1, and I've been using Havoc Rover a lot. So I was like, you know what? Let me give Don Jin her time to shine. You know. But yeah. A lovely mod from Amanda. Oh, got you. That's who you are, Lady of Cartethiya. You know, okay, that checks out. All right. Peace.